Welcome everyone to this Hungarian episode of the Caravan Tour of Terror, a show that finds us touring the globe through the medium of horrific, chilling and disturbing entertainment. My name's Donald and I'm the driver on this quest. Joining me at my side, as always, with a road atlas on his lap, guzzling a bowl of watery stew, is my navigator Ali. Say hello, Ali.
Hello, Donald. And yes, that's Hungarian. I've become fluent.
Hello. Probably not the Donald part. They might say my name differently.
Well, no, your name's Donald.
Well, Donald in Galic's different to Donald in English.
Yeah, but you're not named Donald in Gaelic. You're named Donald.
We're getting way off tangent. Where are we? We're in Camping Pap Island in Hungary. It's got canoe rentals, a swimming pool that's not open yet, and sand volleyball courts, which Ali suggests we could sit in our caravan on a hot day and watch people playing volleyball.
Yeah, that sounds nice, doesn't it?
No.
I mean, we're very pasty white men if we step out into that volleyball court.
So we're going to be in our
modest
caravan, sweating together, watching people playing volleyball.
Yeah, with our watery stew.
Why are we here? We're here to watch György Pálfi's 2006 surrealist comedy drama horror film, Taxidermia. Ali, please do us the honours and get us started on Taxidermia.
Taxidermia is a...
Don't say surrealist comedy drama horror. I covered that.
It is a wild ride, I'll tell you that much. It is.
I mean, if I had to summarize it, I'd say dicks.
Dicks, yeah, a lot of dicks in this. No, it's definitely split into three distinct parts, telling the story of three generations of a fucked up line of men.
Yeah, it's a triptych, apparently.
Oh,
yeah.
Look at you, Googling things.
Oh, yeah, I Googled things. I read Wikipedia.
Yeah, it tells the story of originally a very lowly soldier.
A private.
I kind of gleamed to be a Hungarian, funnily enough, outpost during World War II.
Yeah.
Because it gives very little context to what is actually going on. I was like, is he some sort of slave to these people? No, he's just a
lowly private. Yeah. Morris Govani is his name.
Morris Govani.
Yeah.
And he lives a pretty wretched existence. And he's a pretty horrible person, to be honest with you. He spends his days playing with candles and kissing it and licking the flames.
It's really, that's how it starts off. He's some kind of candle fetishist, and it's pretty.
Then manages to, I don't know, light his dick stream on fire.
Yeah, you see a jet of flame shooting out of his erect penis, which has an early image. Really sets you up for what this kind of film, what this film is going to be. Should we say right off the bat that I don't care about spoiling this film because the story's not really the thing? And
it's definitely one of those
kind of three shorter films. I mean, they do actually have continuity between them, but it's kind of three short stories in a sense.
Yes.
So I don't think spoilers is something anyone needs to really worry about because it's more the visuals of the thing, I would say. So general spoiler warning.
Yeah, generally, it is. We could go into extreme detail of every scene of this movie, and you still would have no idea what is happening.
Let's tackle the triptych one at a time. So Morris Govani got some really good dick imagery right in this one.
Oh my god,
he's a little pervert.
He's a disgusting little pervert that you find out has been caught perverting before.
Yeah, he's a peeping Tom. What's a voyeur? Is that the...
A voyeur. A peeping Tom would do.
Yeah, but I think that's so British that anyone else is going to be like, what the fuck?
True, but I also think voyeur can have a implication of consent to it.
Oh, can it? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. No. Peeping Tom will go with them.
Yeah, it's not that he likes to watch, it's his only option, and he'll find any little hole for his eye and hole for his dick. I honestly, so he watches the daughters of his commanding officer have a snowball fight, and it's enough to get him going.
I actually didn't know if that was his. I was confused if that was the guy's daughters or if that was just. I was confused about the commanding officer's relationship with him, but I'll go with that as well. I just didn't realize that till you said that there. I didn't know if they were locals. Yeah, I might have missed it.
My understanding was that the ranking officer gets to bring his family.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Hence why his wife's there.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's his daughters.
That's true. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
So he watches these daughters having a snowball fight, and he starts preparing a hole in the wooden.
He gets some grease and lubes
wall.
up that hole.
I was like, man, he's preparing this a lot to look through, and then he put the wee bit of cloth in.
Sweet summer child!
I know,
like,
just
for
a moment, just for a moment, and he puts a bit of cloth in, and he starts lubing it up, and I was like, I know where this is going, and then it's just a full-on dick.
Yeah, you see,
just a full-on erect. That like, I did have the thought of that penis had to be erect going through there.
It's kind of weird for us, I think, to see so much erect penis in a film because it's not really, it's not something that BBFC looks kindly upon.
Well, Western cinema is very, very weird about nudity and sex, and it's double standards between what can be shown from men and women.
Yeah, you can't show
men having an orgasm is totally fine. Women having an orgasm, I think it makes it in America like basically a hard R.
Oh God. Well, you also can't show a guy with what we would call around these parts a big stunner. So
big stunner, a big honking stunner.
But no, he shows his big honking stunner right through that hole. Then a little hen pecks at his pecker, which I was. That gave me a little chuckle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that definitely gave me a. I actually have written down in big letters "hole fucker." So
his commanding officer's got some. He's talking to him about the birds and the bees.
Cunt monologue. The cunt monologue.
I was going to say
it's written down as the cunt monologue.
I was going to avoid the C word, but yeah, he says, "Is there anything better than a woman's cunt?" So I was like, "Oh."
Like I know that's hard language. Like we don't usually use that. We don't tend to go that far, but that is the word that is used in the subtitles, and I imagine that is the word that's being used.
Yeah. Well, he also calls it a love chalice and a dewy lily, and I was enjoying them too.
Oh, there's a few really flowery ones where he's basically comparing the language used for a woman's dewy lily, and but he says that there's no better word than the word cunt.
Yeah.
And all the while, he's doing this monologue to
Morscovani.
George Morisco.
Moriscovani.
He is peeping on his wife.
Yeah.
While the commanding officer has his back turned. And there's a really, really, really nice shot of the moment he turns back around, and literally there's a split second of covering up Gavani in the background, looking through the window to going back to doing whatever he was doing. It is a really smooth, no cuts, no nothing. It's just
there's a lot of really good shots in this.
I really enjoyed that. Like, that was quick.
Yeah. There's a scene with the pop-up book I thought was really well done. And horrible when he's talking to the little girl, and then they kind of
girl scene. The matchstick girl scene.
I don't remember the matchstick bit, but he's
the book he's reading is The Little Matchstick Girl, which is a famous.
Oh right, I'd never heard of it. Oh, okay.
Really? Oh wow.
Nope.
So no, that is a really, really famous about a little girl that goes door to door getting matches to keep her warm during the winter, blah blah blah, and she ends up dying in the end. It's horrible. It's really not nice.
No, I've never heard of it. But he's sitting with her with his pop-up book, and then they go inside the pop-up book, and I actually thought it looked really good. I mean, it might be something to do with the fact that this movie is impossible to get in HD, but so that could kind of help effects. But I thought it looked really nice that they were running around. But then it kind of goes gross because he's wanking over this child, and then he shoots his jizz into the sky, and it becomes like stars that are hanging. So fucking. It's horrible.
It's vile,
but it's a really good. It's a really good shot and scene in general, I guess. There's a pig slaughter, and I said last episode that I don't really like films that kill animals on camera, and I was like, that's probably a real pig, isn't it? It looks pretty good if it's a fake pig. I was like, oh, god damn it.
Yeah, pig slaughter.
Now, I have to mention the pig slaughter, not only for that, but for the awful...
Yeah, so Moscovani lives living between... So your dream of the matchstick girl, your whole fucking...
He's a fantasist.
He is an extreme fantasist, and it begins to blur the lines between fantasy and reality. And this all culminates in a scene where he is propositioned by the commanding officer's wife, who comes and tells him to fuck her. Like, and it's a really aggressive kind of dark, dingy scene.
Yeah. As soon as it started, I was like, this isn't happening, because she's talking. I was just like, her dialogue is just like this perv would want it to be, kind of thing. I was like, oh, he's gonna fuck that pig, those pig parts. Literally, almost immediately, I was like, oh, he's fucking those pig parts, isn't he? He's got it. And I was like, oh no.
I mean, you definitely clocked on quicker than I did.
Oh, really?
Says more about you than I.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and with every thrust, she's changing between like each of the daughters and the wife, and then then he's just fucking
pig parts in a bathtub.
In a bathtub,
cut up pig parts. Oh, God.
and he gets caught.
Yeah, so
and that
you found your private officer committing sinful acts with a pile of pig parts. What would the punishment be that you'd mete out to him, do you think?
Well, I don't know. Pigs are probably pretty expensive, and
you could wash it off. Right?
Oh.
Hey, there's some harsh winters.
Also, just quickly going back, they do a lot to that pig to prepare it. It's quite that whole scene of the pig preparing.
It's a woolly pig, so they have to like burn its fur off and stuff like that.
Then wash it down, skin it. Mm-hmm. Like it does seem like the. And this could just be me doing hope over what actually happened. Of like, they look like they could have used that pig. Like it was okay.
That was going to last them a while.
We're good. I'm also meaning in the terms of in real life of killing the animal.
Oh right, yeah.
Listen,
I hope they put its body to good use.
Yeah. I would rather.
It'd be quite nice if someone said, "Oh no, it's okay." They gave it to a local butcher after the guy had.
Yeah, they might have. Yeah, I'm going to stop speculating because I think I could just. And the pig's still alive, Donald. The pig's still alive. So, what punishment would I mete out? Yeah. I don't know. Go and find me another pig, unsemened.
There aren't any other pigs. This was the only pig. This is a prize pig.
I think the only thing I could do at that point is just shoot him in the back of the head.
Yeah, that's what he does. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Just shoots him right in the fucking noggin. I did actually forget, there's a really nice scene where the camera orbits. How do you describe it? It's like rising up over the bath, then going underneath the floorboards, and it keeps orbiting. And you see the bath. You see the bathtub being used for like different stuff through time, and it's like it's used as like a cradle for bread making. People are sleeping in it. It's for bathing, obviously. It's for holding the meat at one point. It's used as a coffin at one point. It's really cool.
A woman gives birth in it.
Oh yeah.
And also, it's used as the baby's bed early on.
So there's loads of symbolism in this one shot, which is very nice.
This kind of like lifetime of a bathtub, wooden bathtub as well.
Yeah, it was very cool. I just thought it was worth going back and mentioning that.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, the and this is where things get weird.
This is where things get weird.
This is where things get weird because
the jizz stars weren't enough for old Ali. He was like pedestrian.
This is the bit where I was like, so the wife of the commanding officer eventually
Irma.
So is pregnant.
Yeah. So it's implied that they did actually have sex at one point. And maybe he was fantasizing about a time when they actually had sex. When he was poking the pig. And
as we all know, he was so filthened with bestiality that the child comes out with a tail.
Yeah, I mean, I think babies do get born with tails, but
full-on pigtails.
Well, it's fleshy.
Full-on pig.
It's not like curly. It's like a little. It's like a little fleshy.
No,
tail.
it's not little. It's not little.
Right after this, Google babies born with tails. They'll all probably look.
Like that. The vestigial tail does not look like that. It had a little bit at the end where there was like.
No, it didn't.
But that doesn't matter because in a fucking horrible.
It's gross.
It's so horrible. Like
gets snipped off with like bolt cutters or wire cutters or something.
Oh, it's so vile.
And like a couple of snips as well because it's not one smooth snip. It's extreme close up.
Horrible.
And
really.
Just for good measure, you get to see loads of the baby's little willy as well. The first part of this triptych is willy heavy.
Willy heavy, very willy heavy. Do you want to tell us about the second part then?
Sure. So the baby is Kalman. A time skips forward to the Cold War era, so 80s. And it's a military competitive eating tournament, which seems to be the way that certain tensions between Eastern Bloc countries at the time are resolved, as they get competitive eaters to eat bowls of watery stew,
or whatever.
See what nations.
They
do other things, but it opens up the stew, to see what nation is best. And I mean, I was struck immediately with. So the Kalman is shoving stew into his face. I mean, he's eating virtually none of it. He's just splashing watery stew all over himself. He's eating very little of it. It just looks a bit like silly to me. I don't know. But they're all eating this stew, and then they go and throw up horrifically into like puke troughs. And
no, it's not even a puke trough. It's like it's like what you would stomp wine into. And they've all just got a wee spot in this ring.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're all chatting, and there's a great shot of them all.
And there's got coaches and stuff.
Rubbing their backs and like literally like they're spraying shit in their mouths to make them vote. And it has this great scene where from the center it just pans round all of the different competitors. Yeah. They're all just doing a variety of things while vomiting. Yeah, just so matter of factly. Just
and I mean it's explosive amounts of vomit.
It's not like gagging and retching and spitting. It's just like a continuous stream every time, and it looks not bad. Like
the effects of this film are very good. Even just for a film from what was it, 2006,
2007.
It looks very good. Kalman has like an admirer in the audience who's right into the contest, and he starts talking about her to his fellow competitors, like, "Oh yeah, I love her" and all that. And then he collapses and gets taken to hospital. And one of my
lockjaw, it's horrible.
The spoon or whatever is stuck in his mouth, and he can't. And he just collapses like a board. But one of my most horrible scenes is he's in a hospital, and this woman has just come with him, like his coach is visiting her, and the woman leans over and. Some drops of sweat from her armpit fall onto his face, and he licks them up. I was honestly like, what? Absolutely.
It's so lovely.
It's so hot. She's got a hairy little pit with sweat dripping off.
Yeah, so it's basically they're shaking, like her and someone else are shaking hands across the bed, and it just bleh.
And he licks it all up off his face. disgusting. Calvin and the woman, he manages to seduce her, they fall in love, get married, and then
hold on, you've skipped a lot. They fall in love, and at his bachelor party, which I think originally, I think it is because I know there's a tradition in some places where there's a whole thing of we steal the bride. And you have to go and get her, or do a bunch of tasks.
It seemed traditional. It seemed like they had roles to play.
It seemed legitimate at the start.
So his rival, who's also on the same team as him, the same eating team as him, steals.
By the way, she is also a competitive.
Steals her away and all that, and all the males there are like, "Oh, you got to bring her back," blah blah blah. But then outside, his rival's just shagging her. It's horrible.
It's hot. Yeah, it's really. And they also have a scene where they, so they're hired by, I think, a Russian.
Yeah.
So like an oligarch, basically. On
the yacht.
On a yacht to basically perform.
Yeah. It's they just happen to be in the area, I think.
Yeah. It's just a total oh my god, you're these people my boss wants. And it's this kind of they're really performing for rich people, and she starts feeling unwell, and he has to kind of cover for it, and it's a deeply uncomfortable scene.
I'm sure there's a lot of stuff in there about Hungary's part in the Cold War and stuff.
Don't you worry, Ali Steam Corner will be appearing later on in this episode.
That's fine. I don't know, and I didn't do my homework on that after the fact, but I was like, they're mentioning a lot of stuff here, and I'm like, it's definitely just one big old metaphor. That's basically the end of the middle triptych.
Because they get married.
Yeah, after that. After she just gets better. She collapses on the yacht, then she just gets better and gives birth. So that's fine. It gives birth to baby Lajos, and that's the third. The third part is following Lajos. Do you want to explain Lajos's bit?
Sure. Yeah. It's weird that this is where the. I'm sure there's plenty. Thematically and what's the word I'm looking for? Symbolically, but this is where the title Taxidermia really comes into play, because we meet Lajos, who is a taxidermist, funnily enough.
Yeah.
And in comparison to
creepy taxidermist.
I feel bad. No, I genuinely feel very bad for Lajos, and not just for his existence with his father. So Lajos is a stark contrast to his parents. He is a pale, skinny taxidermist.
Yep. I think skinny is really the yeah.
And he spends most of his days just trying to live a normal existence outside of his job. And outside of caring for his father, who...
Yeah, Kalman is in this triptych as well.
Yes.
It's the only time that happens.
The most direct continuity.
Yeah.
And Kalman has grown into Baron Harkonnen.
I went with Pearl and Blade or Mr. Creosote from The Meaning of Life. But yes, he's
Pearl and Blade is a good, he's basically he lives in a tiny apartment spends most of his time watching current speed eaters and criticizing slash lamenting his glory days. While feeding his cats nothing but butter and black pudding.
The cats are weird because they're obviously supposed to be unnaturally large.
They're a bit chunky.
Though there are some shots where they're definitely supposed to be much bigger than normal cats,
really?
but they're really inconsistent with it. So sometimes the scale is, because they're obviously, they don't do a lot of like sophisticated effects with the cats. They just shoot them, you know. They don't show them next to stuff, and when they do, they're definitely blown up a bit, but they can't do it very much. So yeah, the cats should eat loads of lard, and they'll get as big as tigers.
But yeah, he basically chucks them butter and black pudding.
They're locked in a cell as well.
Yeah, like a full-on cell, not like a cage, like a full-on prison cell. And Lajos comes over to basically clean his father's shit and piss bucket.
Yeah, he just lives on this commode basically, watches TV. Yeah.
And goes in with a cattle prod to clean the cat area.
Oh, and his dad eats chocolate bars with the wrapper still on so that he can eat an extra, what was it, like 60 per hour or something?
They slide down better. And they get the wrapper gets absorbed.
Yep.
That's the theory behind it. But yeah, basically most of this trip arc is the friction between these two.
Yep.
And one thing I did want to know is the dubbing in this is weird.
Are you talking about
they
Lajos?
were speaking in
so I said in my notes that he seems entirely dubbed for some reason. And then I googled it after, and he's played by a German actor called Mark Bischoff, who doesn't seem to have any connection to Hungary at all. So
he just got
it's an Austrian. Austria was one of the countries that financed this movie. So I can only guess that he was dubbed over, which is distracting because you can really tell.
Yeah.
He might have been, or maybe. I mean, his lips are synced up enough that I think maybe I don't really know, but maybe he tried to speak phonetic Hungarian, and then they decided it didn't work, so they got someone in. There's very little information of that I can find, but I'm just guessing because he's definitely the only person that's clearly dubbed.
It was weird. It was just a bit odd. But so these two just basically bicker at each other. Kalman for being disappointed in his son, and his son for having to take care of this massive.
I'm sure there's a whole thing that maybe, I don't know if Alice Theme Corner will cover it, where it's
Alice Theme Corner is a stab in the dark,
where it's the tensions between, I don't know, the Cold War period and the, present day and stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Maybe we should start a Donald's Theme Corner.
No, we're not starting Donald's Theme Corner. I'm too rubbish to work out exactly what's going on. I'm just like, something smart's happening there. I like it.
I'm not going to think about it, but I think I know that something's happening.
If I was Hungarian, I'd be getting a lot of this subtext.
See, this is why you need Alice Theme Corner. So it culminates with Lajos walking out on his dad.
In a huff. They've fallen out.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
No, he's horrible, Kalman.
Also, Kalman's belief that he could take care of himself in any way, I was like, I mean, come on. You've not been out of this chair in 20 years. But yeah, eventually Kalman comes to soften his decision and returns to take care of his dad and walks in.
Lajos, but yes.
Yes, sorry, yes. Yep. Walks in to take care of his dad, and he's like, "Hi, how are you? Hello." And he walks in to find he had left the cell door.
The
unlatched.
Panthers have got out. The domestic Panthers.
And the Panthers, who have not eaten meat in so long, have. Now, this was when I definitely telegraphed. The moment you see that the door's unlatched, I was like, those cats are hungry. And my God, they were hungry. They tear that man apart.
Yeah. He comes in and sees the aftermath, and there's like just guts hanging out and stuff.
It's just awful.
So at this point, I was like, I know what's going to happen next. He's going to stuff him. And then I was very confused about why he was... So you can explain. Because he starts getting into a contraption, and I was like, this is weird. What's he doing?
Yes. So the finale of this is that you see him skinning his father
Yep.
to prepare him to taxidermy him. But then it does start changing, and all of the scenes for the next, like, good 5 to 10 minutes of this movie are all close-ups. Very, 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 close-in shots of Calman working
Lajos.
hands. Sorry, yes, I know. I don't know why I keep doing this. Lajos working close-ups of his face, close-ups of his hands, and close-ups of the inside of a body.
Yeah.
With it's just surgery. It's just full-on, like, I don't know how they filmed this. I don't know what to know how they filmed this. But, like, really graphic shots of, like, organs getting removed and skin being taken away from flesh.
I'd assume it's more pigs stuff. If
Yeah,
I had
more
to
pigs.
guess. Yeah, I mean, it could be real life operations, but if I had to guess, I'd say it's animal insides.
And you do start to wonder what is going on, because you can definitely tell that what he's doing is not on his father.
Yeah.
At a certain point. And eventually, as you see it getting sewn up, it's revealed that Lajos has drained his blood.
That's gross. That's gross.
He's taxidermied himself alive.
Yeah.
It's quite impressive. It looks like, no, honestly, I was so enraptured by all of this scene. It is.
I don't know if I'm a
really,
genius,
really well
but
done.
I don't, or if you've had a microsleep, but I think I immediately realized he was doing that. My notes say,
It may have
wait,
just-
he's cutting into himself. and then
Unless
lots of
it was
lovely
just
surgical scenes in close up.
There might have been like a single scene, a single shot, or like where he starts on himself,
Yeah.
and I missed that.
Yeah.
Like it reveals, it pulls back, and he's basically got himself into this contraption.
Weird
and
standing up.
himself.
Yeah, he's in a weird standing up contraption.
And he set it so that a spring-loaded blade cuts off his head, and then a circular saw comes down and cuts off his arm to essentially statue himself.
Yep.
And one of his clients comes in, finds him, and puts him and his father
Oh, we
on
forgot to talk.
display.
Yeah, we forgot to talk about Dr. Andor. He comes in earlier on, and he's got a little paper bag, and he's being slightly secretive to Lajos. He's like, "Oh, can you? Can you do this for me or whatever?" But you can tell immediately it's like, "Oh no, it's something horrible, isn't it?" I was like, "It's a fetus." Everybody, that's definitely a fetus he's got in that bag. And lo and behold, at the end, Lajos for him is
Little
put
fetus on a keychain.
yeah, on a keychain in a glass ball. How gross.
Considering it was so secretive, I wouldn't put it on a keychain.
Oh dear.
But yeah, so
The doctor, like it's a
finds him.
yeah, and then it's like in a museum or an art. It's an art gallery. It would make more
art
sense.
gallery.
Yeah, and then they're just on display. And Lazarus really looks like a great statue. Without
It's a great statue.
without the head and the. It's the cover of the DVD actually, which is.
And the way he stuffed his father with his cats is pretty awesome. And put him in a gold glittery suit.
That's your movie. That's your
And that's your
triptych.
movie. Yeah. I'm sure we've spoiled so much.
I know.
People will be saying more
if someone
confused.
writes it and says, "I can't believe you let me know that
Spoiled
Lazarus
this.
dies at the end," this character that I really wanted to.
If this movie was spoiled, email us at Caravan Tour of Terror. Caravan
He
Tour
doesn't
of
know the
Terror
fucking
at
email address.
gmail.com.
Caravan Tour of Terror at gmail.com. Oh dear. Do you want to do theme corner first, and then we can dissect a bit more? I didn't even mean to
Dissect.
do that.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Will we go into da 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 Ali's theme corner?
We need to get better music for that.
Than us. So I feel a lot of this is essentially the Soviet and post-Soviet Hungary,
Yeah.
and how that's affected both the country and the generations within.
Yeah.
So initially you've got the horrible existence during World War II.
I actually don't know Hungary's role in World War II, unfortunately. Probably would have been something good
Neither
to
did
look
I.
up.
This is why Ali's Steam Corner has a huge asterisk next to it. Is that all of this is just absolute like out my arse guesswork? But
Well, I'm sure one way or the other, Soviets featured heavily because of their geography of it. So
the reason I like doing this is because I'd rather think more about it than just leave it on the surface level.
Sure.
So
we'll have
even
to
if it's
ask.
wrong,
It's okay. So we'll have to have a new theme and also a disclaimer saying da-da-da, Ali may be wrong about everything. Da-da-da.
yeah. No, do you not know we're gonna have our second podcast where we get the writers and directors of all these movies to listen to Ali's Steam Corner and then tear me apart.
I think Georgie is going to take one listen to how I try to pronounce his name and put the phone down on us.
No, because apparently that's how his name's said, because you've said it in a different... You're saying it in English, not Hungarian. Donald. Dunald. Don't know how to say it in Gaelic.
Dole, is it not? Something like that.
Dole.
Yeah, it's got it's the weird inflection on it and stuff.
But yeah, so I feel the first triptych is very much about...
Triptych. Is triptych the word? Triptych. Maybe there's a triptych that's part of the triptych.
The triptych?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. The first bit is mainly, it's Hungary's role during World War II and being really under the, downtrodden...
Yeah. Living a pretty wretched existence, I would say.
Exactly. And wanting to break out on their own, but that being seen as an abhorrent thought to have.
Yeah.
Around that time of being your own country and moving away, especially during World War II, where a lot of people were wanting land grabs and X, Y, and Z. Then we have Cold War.
This one's definitely the most on the nose by far.
Wanting to prove yourself amongst all the Eastern Bloc countries.
Yeah, tension with Russia. Proving yourself to Russia and all this stuff.
Yeah, but also doing that to the point of...
We shouldn't say Russia, we should say the Soviet Union, but yeah.
Soviets, yeah. The wanting to prove yourself, but to the point where it doesn't matter how, and even if it's to your own detriment.
Yeah. We
need to show, we need to prove.
We need to be strong.
And that's a lot of what the Cold War in general was.
Yeah. I'm not going to butt in too much, but the dialogue mentions a couple of things during this section. It mentions Norway at some point, and it mentions Illy Fibinger or something. I don't know if that's I'm assuming that's
I think,
some person.
So
we don't know anything about.
I think that is just a Hungarian political joke.
Maybe. That's kind of what I took it to be.
Kind
maybe
of what I took it to be.
It might not even be that, but
it might not. But it also might have way more meaning behind it. But that's definitely one I can't. I can't really speak to Hungarian or Norwegian politician that I've never heard of.
Yeah, I know. It's just
no, but totally. Yeah, I took that more as just it might have a bit of deeper meaning, but it's more just a Hungarian joke. Like the Scots and Thatcher.
Let's not get political.
Oh yeah, let's not get political. Anyway, back to the Cold War.
Yeah. Cold War's over, unless it's not.
Cold War's over, and now we have the current generation, who, as you said earlier, is doing what they want to do, or not following in the footsteps of the previous generation.
Yeah.
And despite the fact that that's what the previous generation were kind of fighting to allow to happen.
Yeah.
There's a huge bitterness there. There's a huge, we had all these aspirations and we wanted you to be the ones to do it, but now you've gone off and done your own thing, and
yeah,
and then you can. There's so much on the like taxidermy and putting yourself on display and
yeah,
like, but I think more of it comes from these different generations of a country that's, I mean, pre-World War, it was an empire. I think that would be pre-World War One, the Hungarian Empire.
Yeah.
It's not. There are a lot of Eastern Bloc countries that don't have a history the same way, and at least in title, not necessarily. Like, obviously, every country has history, and that all comes from smaller groups and tribes, and that's where things get really, really sketchy, and where people want their own. Not sketchy, just sketchy me talking about it. All these different people wanting.
We'll get the hate mail.
Yeah, exactly. But all these different.
That's what the disclaimer's for.
Yeah, exactly. All these different groups of people wanting their own recognition, and their own place to call home, and X, Y, and Z. Whereas you've got Hungary, who had this huge empire, then all dwindled, then they were under someone else, and then they had to build up from nothing again.
Yeah.
And how that played out and affected each generation.
Yeah.
For better or worse.
There's definitely a lot of intergenerational conflict.
Oh yeah, and they're all perverts and love penis.
Yeah, they're all. And I don't know the gluttony thing as well. I mean, I don't know if...
So the gluttony thing I took as like that, like wanting to prove yourself to the point of excess, to the point of like self-harm, to the point of ignoring
I wondered if
the
current generation, the last third, was some comment on I don't know, squandered resources or squandered chances or something like that. Because Calman's disgusting, and all he does now is consume. He just consumes and consumes. I don't know. Maybe it's on a comment
or misguided foresight of you, because there's during Calman's section, there's a lot of like how speed eating is going to be recognized by the Olympics. And how it's going to be like, we need to keep on this because it's going to be big.
Well, to be fair, it's still on telly, so it might just be that he's.
But in 2007, what wasn't on telly? That was
well, there's still competitive eating, and his wife Jeezy is a coach for other people.
Like Dodgeball was made around that time, and that was the whole joke of like, anything can get put on TV. Any sport, any person. Like, do you want to watch Squirrel? What was it? Squirrel.
What?
Squirrel water skiing.
That was a news segment.
So yeah, it's
from Anchorman.
I feel a lot of that in the.
Yeah, I think it's
a lot of that middle section I feel is about that kind of like what they wanted out of their proving themselves, and how that might not have been best for them.
Yeah.
And as you say, you've got all that squandered time, squandered life, or squandered resources, because Calman's apartment in the final segment is just filled with boxes,
candy.
And boxes and boxes of food, of candy and butter, and so I think that he would obviously understand a lot more of it if the more you understand that history.
I know, it's a shame that this is another country's history, that we could never ever be. Everything that goes into a country's history and their culture. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a
exactly.
It'll never have the same effect on us as it would for someone who's grown up in that nation. So that was Ali's theme corner.
Ali's theme corner is not legally binding in any way.
Oh dear. Before we move on to reviews, I'll just say that there's bugger all trivia for this film. That's a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
It was submitted to the Academy Awards for Best Foreign Language Film. And I wish it had got further so that the fusty old Academy representatives had had to watch the spurting willies and stuff.
My favourite would be if it got to the ceremony. If it was like a shortlist candidate.
Yeah.
And what scene from that movie did they use for the little snippet where they go...
Something rubbish and totally...
Yeah, like two people talking like that aren't main characters at all. It's just the vomit scene.
Oh dear. So thoughts?
It's a ride.
It's a ride. Buy the ticket, take the ride. Sorry.
Okay, T-shirt from 2007.
Yeah.
It's a lot to watch. And it's not necessarily like the goriest. I would also argue it might be the softest interpretation of horror that we've ever had.
I think it's really only on the last third that it's anything horrific.
Yeah.
The taxidermy stuff is horrific. But, that's the last bit of the movie, so yeah, up until that point.
It's weird. It's definitely not one that I would just be like,
Don't
hey,
watch
do
it
you
with
want to pop on a yeah, definitely not. Within the first 30 seconds you'll be regretting it. But it's not a movie that you would just pop on to watch, like, what are we going to watch tonight? Let's watch Taxidermia. It's definitely a movie that you would want to, like, I don't want to say prepare yourself for.
Yeah.
But it is that kind of like, know you're going to be watching this movie.
Yeah.
I'm glad I watched it. It would be a hard recommendation.
As in a difficult recommendation, not as in hard recommendation. Really recommend.
As in the difficult recommendation. It would be difficult for me to recommend it.
You'd really have to know who you're recommending movies to if you suggested this, because
it wouldn't be like you're in work and someone in the canteen goes, "Know any movies? I'm just looking for something to watch." Yeah, watch Taxidermia. You're fired.
What do you like? Transformers, James Bond. Yeah. I watched Pop Taxidermia on.
Those Fast and the Furious movies were really good.
Oh, it's got fucking subtitles on it. Oh.
You don't need them, mate. Just watch it without it.
Oh dear.
You? What do you think? Any thoughts?
I really liked it, actually. It's the middle bit. Let's start with the positives, actually. So, Morris Gavani's third. I thought there was some really inventive stuff going on there, and it looked really cool at times. It's gross at times, but it's not. I didn't find it difficult to watch particularly. It's just a bit. It's the kind of gross where it's not. I didn't really find it difficult to watch. Even the end, I didn't really find that difficult to watch. Surgery was a bit. Well, anyway, there's a lot of.
That I literally flinched at was the tail cutting scene.
Yeah, that is pretty.
So it looks so well done.
Yeah,
and it's horrible. And it's fucking horrible.
Yeah, that is the
like even when he gets shot through the head, it looks great. It's just
yeah. There's a lot of stuff to digest the first third. The middle, the Calvin story, I found the least engaging. I actually went back and checked because I was like, was that a bit longer or something? It's actually not. They do basically split up to 3 30-minute segments.
Wow, really?
Basically, it's give or take a few minutes.
No, I definitely felt that.
Kalman's one just. I think it's probably because it was the most heavy in terms of
dialogue
history,
and changing scenes, and there was a lot going on in
metaphorical
Calvin's,
history that doesn't mean anything to me particularly. And the annoying thing is that because Calman and Lajosh's thirds directly feed into each other, whereas Morris Gavani's doesn't at all, really. I wish it was. I wish you could excise Calman's and just have the first and the last third.
I wish they did a wee bit to tie the two, because Calman's parents aren't mentioned, seen, like, he just grew up to be a speed eater, and you see one scene where he's a young boy.
Flashback, and they're eating.
You get a flashback.
Yeah.
No, they're not. They're eating semolina.
Yeah, well, you know. Well, they're eating gruel, then. That's a genetic thing. Yeah. So I think it would have been better as well if either that or just take Calvin's out.
Yeah, but it's especially since, you know, he was a bastard child who had a pigtail, and then we're just on to a speed eater. Like, do you know what I mean? Same person, but no real connection.
Saying that, actually, I really think you could probably excise Calman's third anyway, because Lajosh's third, I mean, he's watching speed eating on the TV. He talks about his history. I really think you could probably excise the middle part. And honestly, I think it would be better. I'd rather a 60-minute movie with the first third and the last third. And I might do that next time I watch this, because I just didn't find Calman's parts.
Next time you watch this?
I'm going to I'd watch this again. Yeah, I really liked it. The last third, I thought was the best, obviously. Because it's got, I mean, all the surgery stuff looks really cool and everything. The look of him at the end, like a Greek statue, looks really cool. The cats, I could probably leave. I just wish they hadn't tried to make them big, weird, lard-eating cats. I'm sure there's a symbolism for that as well. But I genuinely really like this and would watch it again. I didn't even think it was, because it's really explicit as a film. And usually with that kind of explicitness comes like a difficulty to watch. Like, I watched Antichrist, and that's also surreal and also has an erect penis scene, which is horrible. But I find that really difficult to watch. And like films like Serbian films, like really explicit films, usually come with really oppressive moods. But this didn't really have... The mood of it wasn't particularly oppressive most of the time. It was kind of gross to watch, but it wasn't like... It's a weird kind of explicit where it's not...
Yeah, even with that kind of, like, usually with that kind of surrealism, you get a kind of oppressive or unsettling vibe.
Yeah.
And you don't.
Yeah.
It trucks all... Even in the final one, like, it's miserable, but you're still, like...
Lajosh is also... Lajosh is kind of also a bit of a wretched creature in a different kind of way, just because his life is rubbish. No, just because his life is crap.
I felt a lot of sympathy for Lajosh.
Yeah.
You know, because you see him out and about trying to be normal, and people kind of disregard him.
Yeah. I mean, I thought he was creeping on that girl, but
I thought he smiled at her and was like, "Hello," like. I'm not saying he wasn't creeping on her, but I didn't think he did anything out of line to the point where he should be ostracized from humanity.
Yeah. Anyway,
you know our thoughts.
Yeah, I just want to summarize with genuinely really like this. I really like the camera work. I really like the.
It's a very well shot movie.
Yeah, it's way better shot than I expected it to be. Yeah, I would recommend this to certain people that I think would enjoy this.
Oh yeah. It's a very specific recommendation.
Yeah. I actually think that if you want to push your boundary with watching something a bit weird and fucked up, this is probably the one to start with and then see how you get on. Because it's really not as... You're not going to come away from this feeling like a bit hollow and depressed like some of the other kind of movies in this kind of...
Maybe a bit confused and grossed out.
Yeah. But like some of the other movies in this kind of ballpark are
you end
much more of a head trip, whereas this isn't.
Well, Leo Fwine Draka did not agree with you. Puerile nonsense. Taxidermia is a horrible film. The director, who possesses some kind of art house sensibility,
Georgie.
has seemingly decided to make a film as grotesque and offensive as possible.
Seemingly.
It's basically a lot about the plot and how they don't like lots of unpleasant sexuality.
Yeah, it is. It is. True.
The script is silly, and the glorification of the grotesque just doesn't work. Instead, this puerile piece of nonsense is nothing more than a vision of somebody with crude and childish tastes who has too much time on his hands to outcome.
Does he think that he just shot it at the weekend or something with his pals? I've got a funny feeling millions of dollars went into this.
Millions of insert Hungarian
Yeah,
currency
sorry,
here.
I don't know.
Myself gave 1 out of 5. Title, not good. Body, not good.
Body not good.
No, the title was not good. The body was
Oh,
not
right.
good.
The body of the review was not good.
The body of the good.
Oh,
Yes.
that's
I'm not
giving
going
us
to
so
read
much
all of this
information.
one. Apparently, we are very lucky because the DVD transfer of this was not very good.
Well, I'd agree with that because the Amazon Prime transfer of this is also
I
crap.
thought the Amazon Prime transfer was totally fine. I honestly
It's
did
SD,
not
I think
have
it's
it.
480p.
I honestly didn't. I
And
had a moment where I was like, "This is an SD, but actually looks quite good."
It looks passable. It's definitely passable, but there's also hard-coded subs, which are it's fine for us. I've got a funny feeling it'd be really annoying if you didn't speak English and wanted to watch this, because it seems like the only version on Amazon is hard-coded English subtitles.
And just a throwback to old times. This review is from 2011. It cost them $24.98 to order that DVD. Wow.
Wow, yeah. What?
Yeah.
Wait, and they didn't enjoy it?
No, because the DVD quality was.
Oh, right, okay.
So poor.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. 'Cause I was going to say, you'd have to be really sure this was your kind of fucking cup of tea before you went and spunked 25 quid on it. So glad we live in the age we live in.
I know, right?
$2.99. It's $2.99 to rent on Prime, I think. $2.49.
It might be $3.49. It might have been $3.50. $3.50 to watch this.
I think we're in the weeds too much about the price there.
I know, right? Dangle 9000.
Ew. What an unpleasant username for some reason.
A warts and all biography of mankind.
Oh, fuck off. I actually wish... I prefer the guy that just said not good twice to this.
Yeah, no! This film is the perfect antidote for those fed up of feeling inferior after watching the Hollywoodized view of life with perfectly groomed beauties sipping skinny lattes in trendy coffee bars. This film gets to the root of humanity by showing the ugly side of life, stripped of all but our most basic animal instincts, mainly sex and eating. The film manages to be grim, but often darkly humorous. There's 3 more paragraphs.
Oh, please don't. Christ.
Yeah.
Not my preferred kind of review, please. Thank you.
And our final one, Edge Livermore.
I don't know why that's funny.
The title is Sick Pigs and a Hole in a Barn. He gave it 3 out of 5, but specifies 8 out of 10.
What?
So he gives it 3 out of 5 because it's an Amazon review, but he specifies in the body 8
What?
out of 10.
Ah, misclick, surely.
No, because it's...
But it would be 4 out of
Amazon
5.
does... What?
Because it's 4 out of 5. You double them.
What
4
did
out
I
of
say?
5, 8 out of 10.
What did I say?
You said 3 stars,
Oh, sorry, 4 stars, yeah.
I think. No, I
thought
might
I
have
said 4
misheard you.
stars. Yeah,
Not
I
editing
think you
any of that out, by the way. So
No, God, no.
listeners
This is
are going
a
to think
good
one of
film.
us is a fucking idiot.
This film has a lot of Cold War undertones. I take it that the director really wanted to get that across. The film is
I
really
think
good
he's
if you
onto
like
something.
this sort of thing. It's in 3 parts. I'm not going to give anything away, But the ending is very clever. Enjoy! The title of that is Sick Pigs in a Hole in a Barn.
Oh dear. After having discussed this movie, I still stand by the fact that this does not need spoilers. And he should just have said,
yeah,
it's the poster
Man
of the movie.
fucks a hole in a barn.
Yeah, well, yeah. I really don't. It's not that kind of film.
No, it's really not.
It's weird. It's the second one we've had where it's like we don't need to spoiler warning this.
It's only the second one.
Well, yeah, that's true. It's only the second one that we've thought. Nah, there's not really that much story going on.
Thought we'd done our one or two more, but yeah, no, I feel all right. Like again, it's the story is not the point. Because, my God, you get a lot more from watching it than you do just from reading about it.
So please, go watch it. Is that it for boneheaded alternative reviews?
That is it.
Listen to me being so elitist.
I know. You bastard.
So it's a hard recommendation from me, and it's the other kind of hard recommendation from Ali.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think watch it. Good date movie. I'd take someone to the cinema on a date to watch this.
Would you?
No. So other films to watch? Well, I've actually not thought about this, but hey, if you liked all the penis play and symbolism, then watch Antichrist.
That is not what I would call that.
Then watch Antichrist by Lars von Trier. I hope that is by Lars von Trier. I think it is. With Willem Dafoe in it. It's got one of the most unpleasant scenes in all the cinema. Have you seen Antichrist?
I have not.
We'll have to watch it sometime.
Thankfully, Lars von Trier's American, and we ain't doing that country.
No, he's not American.
Is he not? Well, no, he makes American movies.
Yeah, he makes American.
That's what I'm meaning.
Yeah. I'll need to. Well, now I'm going to look up where Antichrist was made, because if it was made in Europe, it's the one where the fox says "Chaos reigns." It's fucking so weird.
Never seen it. I've heard like snippets. I've heard basically how you summed it up like a moment ago of. It's like really fucked up and
there's
weird,
15 minutes of a really good film in it, but it just takes so long to get there, and then it goes fucking hog wild. Which, to be fair, I do like it when films go hog wild, so I should really watch it again. What?
Bone Tomahawk.
Bone Tomahawk, yeah.
It's a great movie where shit just kicks off.
Yeah. Anyway, so okay, Antichrist. For the
I mean, I'll always, when it's this kind of. It doesn't quite hit the surrealism of Brazil.
I've not seen Brazil.
You should go and watch Brazil.
I know, I really should.
Now I don't feel so bad for constantly bringing up Brazil. Go watch Brazil. Like, I can't believe you've not watched Brazil.
Have you seen Citizen Kane? Me neither.
I actually want to.
I've not seen The Godfather either. I'm a really bad movie fan.
No, I've not seen The Godfather.
Oh, God almighty.
What? What else have I not seen? I only watched Goodfellas last year.
Goodfellas is a classic. I think
Goodfellas is fantastic.
I think Goodfellas is the reason why I've not seen Godfather, because to me Goodfellas is the best gangster movie ever, which is unfair because I've not seen The Godfather. But I think that kind of took away the desire to watch The Godfather quite as much. We're gonna have to catch up with all these movies. We're just going to have to go through the IMDb top 100. Just watch all the films that we've not seen on it.
Are we going to review that?
No, God, no, we're not doing. This is private time. I'm not even doing it with you. He looks hurt.
Freddy Got Fingered.
Sorry?
Go watch Freddy Got Fingered if you want to.
If you want an artless version of this film.
That is actually a good point. If you want an artless version of this film, go watch Freddy Got Fingered.
If you want a film that does this but says nothing.
It is mental. Have you seen the retrospects of Freddy Got Fingered?
No.
Some people actually go down that route of like. It's
the imagery of it.
Cinema.
Oh, right.
Like no, this had way more. No.
I don't know. seen interviews with Tom Green. I think he's fine, but I don't think
he is not a
an auteur.
Yeah, I didn't want to use that word. I don't like that word.
Oh, very sorry. So, next we're going to visit a country that doesn't exist anymore because we're watching a Czechoslovakian comedy drama horror film.
Okay.
Called The Cremator. Now, it's kind of weird that I think that The Cremator is going to have the same vibes of this as of it's going to be disturbing and horrific, but not scary and not horror. But horror. It is weird that it's one after the other. I was actually...
We're moving into the Eastern Bloc.
They've got other stuff going on. And there was actually some other choices, but The Cremator was just by far the movie that was the most lauded, and neither of us have seen it. So I thought, let's just go for it. It's from 1969. He's nodding like, that's all right. That's all right.
No, it's fine.
Won't be subject to the Hays Code, so you'll be all right.
Won't be subject to the Hays Code. I don't think Czechoslovakia really cared about the Hays Code.
Yep.
I might look into a little bit of Czechoslovakia and the Czech Republic.
Yeah, I really... It's going to be...
It's something that...
steer away from a lot of that because it's not something I know much about, and I'm sure there's a lot of national pride. This movie came out in 1969 when Czechoslovakia existed. I don't know anything about where exactly. I don't know if it belongs to one or the other now.
I'm going to do a wee bit of just so like
offending.
Something it's basically something I want to do is the countries I know less about. I would like. I'm not saying of the movie, just of the actual country of what's basically, especially for things where it doesn't exist anymore. So, what are how could this pertain to present day or?
The Cremator is to do with World War II, so it probably would be beneficial if one of us had even an inkling of what the fuck we were talking about.
So look forward to that. Look forward to that absolutely brand new feature. And it certainly won't be an Ali's Theme Corner. Right, well...
The volleyball's finished.
The volleyball's finished and the boat's coming, so we need to get off this island. We need to go and get some more watery stew in semolina. I'm hungry.
Jesus. It looked horrible, all of it. Yeah. So unappetizing. Right, catch you in Czechoslovakia, I guess.
Catch you... Wait, Donald... He's driving off. Fuck. He's driving off. Donald! Oh, bye, everyone. Donald! Bye.